All right, guys, we're going to go over 13.1 and give you guys some tips and some strategies. Now, there's no way that any of these tips and strategies can overcome your fitness and your strength and your capacity to do work at these two movements, but seconds are going to matter in this workout. We can save you 30 seconds by giving you some of these little tips. That 30 seconds will allow you 2, 3, 4 reps at the end, and those 2, 3, 4 reps is going to be the difference of hundreds of people. So let's kind of take a look at some of the things that we can do here. Here's the first one. We'll talk about the setup on the burpee, then we'll talk about the setup on the barbell, then we'll talk about some little strategies. So first thing is the setup on the burpee. If it works out for you, so where 6 inches works, this would be my first choice, what we call a canopy situation. In a canopy situation, we've draped a yoga mat between our pull-up bars. In that case, it's a soft, big target. I don't need any accuracy. It allows me a lot of leeway to just jump up and touch. I don't need to look up and crane my neck and waste any extra energy. The next thing, if that's not an option, it doesn't work out for your height, and for most people it doesn't, is go with, again, a big target, a big padded target, so you don't have to worry about hitting something small, and use a rolled up yoga mat. It looks like this over here. You roll up a yoga mat over a pull-up bar. And this you kind of adjust pretty well, within a couple inches on how tight you roll it up. But the bigger it is, the better. The next thing is draw a line directly underneath it, and that'll give you a target or kind of a placement of where to put your hands and where to put your feet. What you're going to do is you're going to put your hands just in front, you're going to bring your feet just to the line, you're going to jump up and hands to it. You don't need to look up at all, it'll just be there when you come up. Okay? If you don't have this system, you can actually create this. You have two things, two stanchions on the side. You can give it any height. The way we do that is with a band, set up like we always do around a pole. You're going to take the yoga mat, slide it through, and then just use a carabiner and loop it around. And you can adjust that to any height you want. And then you have that set up. For the barbell, for the ladies' barbell, the standards say from below the knee. It does not say from the hang. So for that reason, I think it works. It helps to go off of blocks. It gives you a little touch and go action on the bottom and defines it for you so you're not wasting extra energy going down below the knee. The kind of key point here is if we're going to use metal fives, the best thing you can do is set up so we're not lifting off of metal or even hard plates. You can stack up plates there if you don't have these boxes. The trick is put a soft rubber on the top so it'll give you a little touch and go bumper plate action. From there you set up and you can see it's clearly below my knees and you lift off of there. If you prefer to go to the hang, just go with that. From there, we have all of our next weight stations set up really well. And the way we're going to do our transitions is really simple. This is the fastest way we found to change out the weights. It goes like this. If I go set up, that's set up right next to it. So that's what we set up before we kind of started the workout. You're going to straddle the bar. Lift the bar up with one hand. From there, the collar comes off, goes right down next to it. The plate comes off. In that one motion, the next one comes up and it's slid back on. People are wasting upwards of 45 seconds to a minute. You want to minimize that time, maximize the amount of time you're doing work. Lift up with one hand, slide off, slide on, and flip goes on. Same thing obviously on the other side. From there, we have our weights set up. The next step would be, if these are, we're going to 15-pound bar, 15-pound plates, which went on. Next would be 10s and 2.5s. Then the next one would again be 10s again. If you don't have 15-pound plates in your gym, and we only have one set, so our athletes aren't doing this, it would be over here. We'd start off again with the women's bar and the 5s, but the 5s would come off, and 2 10s go on. Then from there, another set of 10s and 2.5s. And then finally, to make the 120, the final weight is 2 10s go on top of that. That's how we go there. For the guys' bars, it'd be the same situation in terms of the change out. If you have 15-pound plates, use them. And in that case, you pop it up and all the weight comes off. We don't have 15-pound plates, so instead of taking everything off and putting on a 45-pound plate, we simply take the 5 off and put the 35 on top of it. It's a little bit easier to move. And from there, everything else is the same for the weight changes. In terms of strategy and how you kind of attack this workout, though, you got to think of the first round of burpees and snatches as a buy-in. The first burpees, the first 40 burpees should take you no less than 2 minutes. It's essentially a 2-minute buy-in to a 15-minute workout. If If you're going faster than 2 minutes, you gotta check yourself. And most of you guys have already done this workout once, so you should know what your times were for that. My suggestion is give yourself a little tempo and a pause after every rep. After you do your burpee, you jump up, pause. Burpee, jump up, and pause. Little tiny beat at the bottom. When you do your snatches, 2 things on the snatches. First is, it's a lightweight, I get it. Most of us can muscle snatches and do 30 reps straight. I would prefer that you did both those differently. I prefer that you gave it with a little power snatch and stood it up. Save the shoulders a little bit. Next point there is, I would prefer you break it up into 10 and 20. A little extra saving on the grip, a little extra saving on the shoulder. Stepping away for 1 or 2 seconds is going to benefit you exponentially towards the end. You're going to have more left at the end. Now the next thing, talking about strategy-wise. We talked about the pacing, we talked about muscle snatches and breaking those up. The next thing I would do, and this is kind of key, we've had about 300 athletes go through this workout already, we've watched them do it, is after you finish the snatches, I would do my weight changes then, before you go to the burpees. So I do my 30th snatch on those 75 pounds, I change out my weights, and then I go do my 30 burpees. I come back, and now I'm set up to go. Second option there is if 30 burpees is daunting for you, is making your way towards 70 total. If you're a big guy, that's a lot, you have another option. You go do 10 burpees. Come out, as long as your barbell is set up right next to your station, you come out, you change one side. Do your second set of 10 burpees. Come out and change the other side. You go to back, you do a third set of 10 to complete the 30, and your barbell's already set up. It breaks up those 30, which can be daunting, into 3 sets of 10. As long as your bar is set up close to you, it's not a lot of lost transition time. It keeps you in check metabolically. When you get to that 30, that set of 135 snatches, that's where you have to, it's going to differ a lot for different people, whether they do big sets or small singles. We've had athletes do very well doing both. That's kind of up to you. Key point is check yourself with the burpees, save yourself metabolically so you can crush the snatches. Another way you can do that, to check yourself with the burpee, is do a step. And the step is really cost saving in terms of energy and not that expensive in terms of how much time it's taking up. What we mean by the step is this. If I'm hitting this candidate target, I'm going to step down quickly, have my hips hit, I keep a staggered stance and just come up and back down. Okay? Step, up. Cost savings wise, in terms of energy, that's not a bad option. Some athletes will do better because they're more accustomed to the motor pattern of a regular burpee, but for some athletes that burpees are very difficult, that's a great way to do it. We've had some athletes get very, very good scores by doing that through the whole thing. Find what's right for you, go attack it, 13.1, go get it.